The debt. The debt. Recently, I was talking to a friend of mine who was kind of in the communication business, and a program director of sorts was saying, I want you to talk about the debt. And he said, what do you want me to say? I don't know, just talk about it. What about it? Just, it's a headline. Talk about it. Well, what would you like me to say? I don't know. So you want me to chase the headlines? Is that it? Yes. Well, what's the take? What? Well, I don't know. Watch what, Fox says or something. And that's the way most news is. Most news, what I just told you, is exactly the way it is. They don't know really what it means. They just kind of follow it like, well, I guess this is important. Sort of. And I guarantee you there's no one watching today who is saying, well, what about the debt? Where is this? It's an artificially emphasized. It's important, but it has absolutely no interest to most people because of the fact that most people don't know anything about it. If you want to hear something interesting, listen to a couple of debates, a couple of points that Bernie Sanders made. And I saw this morning on YouTube going through this various thing. And I talk about this on my private channel where I go into much, obviously, different detail on this. Because this, how do I say this? For purposes, I'm always trying to figure out audience take. There's a certain degree of, I don't want to say depth, but seriousness or anything involving the arcane subject matter of something that the audience will not appreciate in the least. So you can't push it. People don't want to get too, unless you're Lex Friedman, perhaps. Short of that, most people have no interest in it. They want to hear about some drag queen at Disney or something, and that's fine, and that's important. But believe it or not, I was listening to something, and it was Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders said something which made so much sense. He had some objections to this because of fracking and climate change, and that's all right. And I like to listen to what he has to say about this. And what Bernie Sanders and others won't tell you is that here's what we're going to do. If we substantially change this particular direction, climate change will be affected accordingly. Now, I'm not going to explain to you how it will or what it will. I'm not even going to tell you what climate change is, but I'm going to tell you that if we do this, this will somehow, and the Christopher, whatever his name is, the one who looks kind of like Rachel Maddow, they kind of fig glasses. I don't know what his name is, but I was watching it, and it was very good. But he never tells you exactly why. For example, if I said, coal factories pump out huge plumes of deadly polluting coal plumes and death. Okay, I got it. Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Doesn't help a lot, but he never said it. He just said fracking and this and climate change. Well, what about it? This is natural gas. How does this affect? What do we? They never say. They don't have to. It's this. It's just this kind of a throwaway. We don't even. It's a shorthand talk. Okay, fine. But he also said something. He said they're talking about increasing the budget of the Pentagon and tremendous waste, and there's never even been an audit. I agree with him 100%. Good for you, Bernie. Good for you. And in one of these particular provisions that Manchin was promoting regarding fracking, they eliminate judicial review. You can't even go to a court to review, and I agree 100%. Even though I may not agree with the subject that we'd be going to court over, or going to court for, the fact that we are dealing with something like this, I think is wonderful. Stupendous, terrific, wonderful. Way to go. Good for you, Bernie. I agree with the idea. Now watch this. Let me show you something right now. As we're doing this live, in fact, if you're watching this later, please follow along, and of course like this video and subscribe. But follow along to the reactions. Live streams are involved in, for the most part, most people who do not respond at all. They're just listening. They have no. It might be in their car. They might be walking, but they're not looking at the reactions. Then you have the folks who are part of the audience, and then you have the reaction audience. Those people who are a part of this, who either and this is a wonderful thing, have almost a family setting where people will know each other, which I think is great. And others will realize the short amount of time that they have to speak, and don't get too deep in words because people don't like to read it. So let me just ask you something. What is the one takeaway, the one word, your reaction to debt ceiling talk? This is the most interesting. Now watch what happens. When you ask the question, give me one word that best describes let me tell you what to look for, your reaction. First, the person who wants to find a way, how do I get to the front of the line of this? And how do I explain my way of thinking? Wait a minute, I got another pollen warning. Yep, another pollen warning. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with these. I get these warnings. But what word can I do that's funny, piquant, and gets people's attention? That really has nothing to do with a particular question because that's not why I'm here. Others will say, well, let me give you an answer for this. And it's a very simple thing. It's almost like analysis. Psychoanalysis starts off sometimes with just a kind of a free association, a word thing. And very rarely does somebody want to pay a psychiatrist to think of cute and piquant words. But someone writes scam, crooks. Okay, why? Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Scam. It's a scam. Why is it scam? We don't know. It's one word. We don't know. But look at the reaction. Scam, crooks, which is very good from Sean. And flat earth man. By the way, are flat earthers still around? I think they kind of went away. I kind of like them in a weird way. I never really understood what the purpose of that was, but what are you going to do? But what is the one word? What is the one phrase? What is the one thing that best describes to you and the world this thing called whatever it is? How does this work? Truth. Interesting. I like that. Happy Thursday. Thank you, Carol. Bless your heart. Happy Thursday to you as well. Whatever that means. Happy. Are you happy, Carol? Can you say you're happy? Most of us who are happy are just not depressed. Manipulation, irresponsible, negligent. See, negative. Can't be good. Theft is good. Is there anything? Can McCarthy be given any words of advice? Any congratulatory words? Anything? Progress? Good. What's interesting is watch the detractors, and if ever you want to see the most annoying, the biggest problem with the Republican Party, Matt Gaetz, who loves the attention. Do you know when somebody stands up and does this, for example? What if I said to you, imagine we're at one of these, I don't know if they even have these. Remember those Sertoma meetings? Sometimes you drive into a town and there will be a Rotary Club sign. We meet at this Western Sizzler the first Tuesday of the month. Remember that? They normally at a bus stop or something. Anyway, you go to these little monthly things. And if somebody were to get an award, and somebody says, thank you very much. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. I'm honored and glad to be a part of this. Thank you very much. Humble, very nice. What if somebody does this? Yeah. Holds a trophy up. Yeah. You realize, what a jerk. This guy thinks it's about him. See what I mean? See how that works? Interesting. He thinks it's about him. This is about his own vainglorious. That's Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is a little boy living, saying the right thing, but thoroughly loving being the star. He is not to be trusted, and he is the biggest problem with this fractious and contentious Republican, whatever it is. Democrats stick together, Republicans, no. I would sit there and say, let me explain something to you. I would pull the caucus in and say, I want you to do me a favor. Shut up. We are in an existential threat against these people, and we have to show unity. So do me a favor. Okay, do me a favor. I don't want to hear any of this business you've got about, well, technical rights, about what McCarthy. This is our leader, okay? Act unified. Shut up, or I guarantee you, you will have nothing accomplished. I will see to it that nothing ever happens regarding your district, your constituency. You got it? I'm going to send you back to your hometown with nothing. That's what a leader does. Shut up. You want to beat these people? That's what it's about. It's not about this. Do you really think? No. It's about where are you? You're getting ready. This is mutiny. This is mutiny. Nobody wants to hear your thoughts about, your, well, anyway, that's that. Move that over there. Next issue. And this is something which I really want to impress upon you. What is happening here the most that will affect us is involving what is happening to children and what is happening regarding the groundwork of what we used to call morality. I hated when people dared to talk about morality. Morality was like, who are you to talk about what is and isn't moral? Some people were hyper-moralistic. I don't know about you, but I've always found out that it's the people who claim the most sometimes, who talk about morals and families, these are the wildest ones there are. You ever known that? You ever know somebody who all of a sudden, they got a real big mouth? It turns out they're having an affair, or they're shacking up, or they're doing their secretary, but all of a sudden they're like, oh, I hate that. Okay? This issue is children. That's it. Let me see if I can explain this to you. This is a new topic, so focus on this. I don't care what Target sells. I don't care. If Harley Davidson wanted to go all LGBTQ in terms of their motorcycles, I don't care. It means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. Not interested. Whatever. Fine. Don't buy them. I don't care. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Nothing wrong with being transsexual or whatever. Gender. I don't care. It's kids. Here's the other part. And this is what I want to tell you. This is a problem, and I don't know what the answer is. This is nothing that Trump or DeSantis or Biden or Chris Christie or anybody else can help you with. Perfect example. We have a friend of ours who announced to us that her son was going to school here in New York City. And there was something that was called some type of a gay, Pride Day, something like that. Just kind of a pride. Now, this is 5th grade, 6th grade, whatever it is. Why are you telling kids about gay pride when they haven't even decided if they have a girlfriend yet? They're kind of in this weird no man's land. Remember when you were in that weird position where you weren't a kid, you weren't an adult, you weren't in puberty yet, you weren't really, you kind of like, maybe you thought girls were icky, maybe you didn't, maybe you thought something's weird, you're kind of prepubescent. I guess the ephebophile or the hebophile or the, I don't know what division of chronophilia would affect this. Anyway. But you're kind of there, and you're not sure. And you're just bounding along, and you might notice that, these girls, there's something different about, I don't know, they're not seeming so icky. Or maybe you do have a gay tendency, and maybe you might be thinking about that? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows, because nobody's really talking yet about sex at this weird twilight zone. It's like when somebody wakes up in the morning, give them a couple of minutes before they wake up, before you start telling them what you want them to do for the day. Just let them wake up. That's kind of what this is. It's a weird period. Okay. So all of a sudden you go into class and you're not really sure. You don't know what's hip. You will do everything in your power to be cool. You'll get the right backpack. You are so, and kids always have been, I can't wear that. That's stupid. I like these sneakers. I like this. I want to fit in. I don't want to be alien. I don't know. And when it comes to the sex thing, whatever. I don't even know what it is. They don't even know what it is. What are you talking about? I had a friend, one of my best friends in the world. He and his sister, not twin sister, but both are gay. And when they were little developing, they didn't know it. They had no earthly indicator until later on. Until something came where they thought about it, or they didn't know. Why? Because during this period of time where you're sort of in this kind of gray area, you're unaware of what's going on. Okay, you got it? Good. So now you're going to bring them into a class, and I don't know if you're going to have the John Waters dystopian dance troops or whoever you're going to have, but you're going to have these people come in, and they're going to do some stuff or say some stuff that might be pretty scary. Might be pretty scary stuff. Really scary. And this is scary. And you're thinking, am I gay? Is this okay? Is this okay? So gay's okay? They may think it's a fad. I don't know what they think it is. Why? Because you shouldn't be having this school and then orchestrated showing people pride about being gay, or pride about being straight, or pride about sexual gender. This doesn't make any sense. This is too early, which is precisely why this is being done. It's to lay the groundwork. This is proselytizing. If you have kids, one of the greatest things in the world you can remember, maybe your grandchild, maybe your we've had friends before, somebody says, "Yo, I don't know if my grandson," don't worry about it. See what happens. What are you going to do? Don't worry about it. But don't push it. Don't ask them what they like. They're not able to, even if you're trying to, let's say, affect the way they eat, and you say, "Do you like hot dogs really? Are you sure about that? Don't you like spinach better? Don't you?" Don't even do that. It's like, what are you doing? What are you asking them questions? They're kids. They live in this weird kind of intellectual, spiritual personality twilight zone. They don't know what you're talking about. So now you're going to bring kids into a school, and you're going to have this thing called pride. Everybody knows what proud is. Hey, you won the ribbon for very good. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my grade. I'm proud. Why are you proud about this? What are you proud about? Now, it's one thing to sit there and to advocate. Listen, we all get along at the school. We don't bully. And that's it. Leave it alone. Now, later on, perhaps, maybe it is appropriate. I don't know. I always thought school should be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to teaching all aspects of the health and sex arts. However, when it comes to this, and this is the most important thing in the world, when it comes to this thinking, I guess, you have to put yourself in the position of recognizing the fact that kids are confused, and what you're doing, not just at school, but just they go into a store, they go into Target, they go on TV. Somebody the other day said, there was a thing on YouTube, or no, on Twitter, that said they could not believe that what they were seeing was were white people on a commercial. I thought, that's kind of funny. It's absolutely true. White people, I don't care about commercials. You can do whatever you want. On commercials, a non-biracial or multiracial or whatever, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in popular culture. Okay, so I'm aware of this. No law against that. There's nothing. But here's the best part. I know this is a long way to lead up to this. Our friend who told us this said this. Well, what are you going to do? Aren't you afraid? No. I would have my kid home that day. Mrs. L and I were talking about it. Why? Because too early, inappropriate. That's not what the school does. This school should be teaching everything about math, STEM, about math and reading and all of this jazz. Not, is it STEM or STEAM? It's STEM, right? Yeah.
STEAM because I had arts.
Yeah, arts as well. If anything else, teach arts. Do something. But to sit there and explain, what if I were to teach kids about the fragility of marriage and the divorce rates? No. It's true. No. What if I were to introduce statistics that show the number of people of this particular demographic who suffer from self-harm or bullying? No! Why? Bottom line is kids aren't ready to hear this. Kids are not ready to hear this. So what we have right now, the biggest problem is number one, well, in both of them, people pretending to care, pretending to know, and pretending to understand something they know nothing about. They don't see any of this. None of this. They don't see this. I don't want kids taught about heterosexuality. I don't want to have kids to be talked about or spoken to about pregnancy prevention between heterosexual. No. Too young. I don't want kids to learn about drug abuse. By virtue, I don't want to scare kids. They're not ready. I think you should tell them to stay away from things. My panoply of subjects transcend that of sexual. It's not about sex. It's about they're not ready for this yet. And you can hurt people. You can disrupt their natural progression. If you start trying to teach kids about division and multiplication in kindergarten, you might confuse them. You might make them think they're stupid. They don't understand what you're talking about. What is he talking about? I hate math. How many girls are listening right now, women, who were told girls aren't good in math? I hate math. How many people, not just girls, hey, I hate math. I hate it. You were never taught it. You were never taught math. Girls are told specifically, don't ever do that. I would pull my kid out of a class where I thought my kid is going to be harmed regarding, well, that's not something you should be that's a boy saying, why don't you become a mommy or something? You know, they used to say, I don't know if they say that anymore. It's not just about kids or sex, I should say. It's about anything that's not appropriate. There are people right now, there are kids who are, all you want to do is get through this weird kind of gray area where you can say, okay, now you're ready. Now we're going to go to the next area. I don't want you to have all the confidence in the world. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to be focused. Okay, you're ready. We're going to this puberty stuff's coming. We're going to talk about this, but I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to teach you long division or calculus before I teach you your colors. It's not because of anything other than I don't want to ruin the progression. That's all. And that's where we are right now. You understand this? Drug abuse should be taught at an early age. I don't think you should teach kids how to abuse drugs. Frankly, I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned. Drug abuse, kids, you teach them in general about health. Not drug abuse, but health. There are things in the world. One of the things people have to read, nobody ever wants to talk to kids about, is what they eat. I guarantee you what kids eat, the childhood obesity right now is through the roof. They're finding fatty streaks in kids. You understand that? They're finding fatty streaks in kids because of the garbage that they eat right now. Now people think, oh, no. How many parents say, look, you don't understand this. He likes pizza, hot dogs, Coke, soda, cake. I don't have candy. I don't have time for this. Just shut up. They're kids. I ate it. That's what kids eat. Come on. How many people do that? And you set them off for life. You set them off on this course of disaster. I don't want to talk about this. I mean, teach them about the dangers of drug abuse. Well, don't freak them out. Now, I don't know about you, but how would you tell somebody, children, do not take drugs? Okay, that's pretty good. What are drugs? You know. Now, if it's too nice, does it seem very thorough? I think it should be discussed. But I also think another problem, too, is I don't know if the school should be necessarily doing this. Whatever happened to the parents? I'm going to talk to the kid about drugs. I'm going to do it. Why does the school have to talk about drugs? I miss McGruff, too. Take a bite out of crime. Remember that one? Why does the school have to talk about gays, straights, sex, drugs, crime? No. What if I told you, by the way, we're going to go to this movie theater, yeah, but before the movie starts, you're going to give us a lecture on the debt. You would say, that's no business of the... Why is it a business of a school to talk about drugs? I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, no. They can't even teach addition. Stick to what you do. Your instructional, your didactics. You understand this? Didactics. You are didactics. I am telling you. All right, my friends, that's it. Just be thinking about this and ask yourself today, the debt, gibberish and nonsense, but bipartisan gibberish and nonsense. You're going to go through the rest of the day listening, if you will, to various news shows to try to have people describe to you how it makes sense when, in fact, no one cares. I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. And also ask yourself this question. Do you agree with me, yes or no, that parents should be able to tell schools, I don't want you talking about this, and this. I don't want you talking about races. I don't want you to talk about poverty. I don't want you to talk about anything other than addition, subtraction, reading scores, playing, participation, arts, colors, come home. That's it. I'm not here to teach you about morals and politics. None of that stuff. None of it. It's none of your business. Stick to this. I want them to do well on the test because I want my child to be able to read. That's it. I do not want you to be talking about this. You're no good at this. You can't even teach addition. How are you going to explain the subtle nuances of sexuality? That's it. Dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Also, and I can't say this again, also, please, for the love of God, I beg you, follow her on Twitter at Lynn's Warriors, LYNNS _Warriors. And I'm at Lionel Media. You get a real kick. Oh, they get very upset with that, okay? Remember, challenge authority, question everything. See you today at 7 p.m. Don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.